and welcome to Milne Bay Island.
We're about to depart for Panaeati Island from Massim. We have here with us archaeological extraordinaires Jemina, Haro and Simon Coxe. Gone from Port Moresby through to Alatau through to Massim, collecting all the gear, and this is our final stop before we take off.
Just left Massim, and we're currently working our way across the Solomon Sea. It's a little bit choppy, and we're heading to Panaeati. I think we're all feeling a little bit excited about what's to come. The weather's a bit overcast, a bit wet, but luckily we've had some company of dolphins, so we'll take that as a good sign. So, all aboard for fun.
Hey!
Of your ancestors, how they came about, where did they come from, what did they eat in the past.
I am an archaeologist originally from the other side of the planet. My home country is England.
Archaeology is a study of the things that people left behind a long, long time ago. And much of it was rubbish. But the ground underneath our feet is very much like a cake. Lots of different layers. So when we go down into the ground, anytime you're digging a hole, anywhere, you're digging into the past. I've seen. Yeah, so most of the pottery is different to this.
This morning we start our day off by walking through the tracks and visiting some of the clay sources here. And as you can see far in the distance is the island of Walemata
At the north of Panaeati.
at the north of Panaeati, and you can see the beautiful view of the islands and the sea, and you can even see Misima from here as well.
There's a caught in a bloody spider web as well. Talk about drama of the worst possible kind.
We've come to a different location here just to have a look at this new cave system. So, with our trusty torch, let's go and have an explore, shall we? Okay, here we go. What's down here? Something's crawling around in here though. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, it's just a stone.
Shirt here that looks slightly different. It's a comb web, but interesting rib.
Hi folks, I've come across this little low limestone crawl space cave. So we explored it to record it as a potential archaeological site. While inside we found these remarkable pots. If I can just get a torch on that, you'll see that it's quite a large pot with very intricate designs around the outside. And from finding this exact same pottery in excavations elsewhere in the Louisiade Archipelago, we know that it probably dates around 300 years old. We're on the north side of Panaeati. You can see that it's a lot different from the other side. Sheer vertical cliffs all the way around. We're just standing on a very narrow limestone coral terrace, and we're on our way to Kewibu, which is the cave that we tested last year with a late Pleistocene deposit. So first order of business was to get here. We came by dinghy. We've got the gear in hand, and the next thing we've got to do is scale this cliff to get to the cave.
Will you alright?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on here, lab to huna tia. Miss na lagi hanga pun hindi na ako. Ito.
We have been digging here for the morning and sieving the soil very carefully over here. We're down 11 centimetres now, but now we're just very carefully 3 centimetres at a time just going through this very loose deposit here, recording everything that we can. We've found bits of marine shell, bits of bone, bits of crab, bits of land snail, and possibly a stone artefact. So it's off to a very good start. What we have here, we've just completed what we call spit 3. Spits are just arbitrary depths that we dig in. What just popped up is this little Anadara shell here. And what it looks like is that there's a little hole in the top. Now either this is for food preparation or it's for to tie on the end of a net for fishing. So let's pull it up now and have a bit of a look. Let's see what we have. This will be the first time this has been held by a human hand in a long, long time. And indeed what we have here is one half of a bivalve shell. It would normally have another hinge here. This is the hinge part. And the edges of this are a little bit worn. Either this is through age or it's from rubbing on the bottom of the lagoon where it may have been used as a fishing implement. Importantly, the hole on the top here is also worn, and if this were for just cracking open for food, it would be a rough break. But the fact this is worn all the way around, and the string would have come through here, and as the string rubs against this as it's being used on the net, it smooths it down.
Right there, pumice right there. You can get that little fellow if you want. Okay, so it's the end of day 14. We have just had a fantastic start to our cave excavations. We've already come down onto what looks like a hearth. There's a very compacted ashy layer. Hopefully that'll also be the first in a sequence of hearth deposits, because it's right at the front of the cave, and if you're going to have a fire anywhere in the cave, it's going to be right at the front. So fingers crossed, we'll get to the bottom. Maybe that 17,000-year-old date is just the tip of the iceberg. What, and that's a bit or from just higher up? Higher up.
Can you want to take this, please?
Turned up a little piece of pottery which was fairly early in its temper, had shell and sand in it, which is the earliest pottery that we find in New Guinea. Now we're well below that, and we're probably approaching the late Pleistocene level, late Pleistocene being 10,000 years plus. The base of the cave is 17,000, and we're about 17 centimetres away from completion. So we must be getting close to that age. We're still finding marine shell from the rough coast here, and they're taking up to the cave and having a feed.
The ridge, yep, and then drop down. Fantastic.
And we're on our last day of the excavations at Kewibu Cave. We're down to 62 centimetres, and we're taking it down the final 3 to the base of the limestone cave. We're finding marine shell, so gently we're going to finish it off. This area where Simon's sitting is the spade pit that we dug, we've slightly expanded it so we've got room to sit down and work this rather tight space that we have here. But we've just been very careful walking around this area so we don't collapse the sides. At this stage it's absolutely critical that the record remains intact until the very end. After the excavation's completed, we're going to clean up the sides of this excavation. We're going to draw all the different layers that we have throughout the deposit, including all the rocks that have come in the side. So all that very careful documentation of the soil profile will allow us to reconstruct the history of people being in this cave and using it for various means. We've just completed our last day at Kewibu excavation. We're just walking back through the bush now. Very exciting finish. At the very base of the excavation, we've got a large piece of obsidian. Now, the significance of this is that we know from testing that the base of the excavation is about 17,000 years old. That obsidian must have come from one of 3 or 4 different source locations in New Guinea, none of which are on Panaeati, which leads us to believe that people not only here at that time, but they were bringing things with them, or even trading with other island communities. If it is Ferguson Island obsidian, which is quite a distance away, then that will be the earliest obsidian transfer of that particular type of obsidian by some thousands of years. We're sitting back at base here on Panaeati. Excavation finished at Kewibu, but we've had all of the sieved sediment to go through and find all the little goodies in amongst the limestone rubble. So we've spent all day today. It's currently 3:35 in the afternoon. We started at 8 o'clock. So there's a lot of history here. Once we're done here, we're going to relax, have some food with the community tonight, and then tomorrow morning we depart for Massim for the next stage of the journey.